Hello, there is yet more FE12 ZGPH3 to be done. Today's is real easy and real quick. This is one of the guidance chapters added to the DS game that wasn't in the original, and it's pretty stupid, pretty different from how the rest of the game looks. For the first time in a while, we're going to have to go without a healer. There's only 6 deployment slots, and for the first time ever, the Avatar is going to be on the bench. I'll have to go back to pick units here in a second, and I sped through this inventory. The only interesting thing here is that we'll put the Taurus Shard on Marth for +1 strength, +1 defense. It makes the strategy robust against stat fluctuations on the Armor Knights, and we'll actually see that here at the start. I also put a basic Iron Axe on Pala, because I might as well save the bar tray uses for when the +1 damage is actually necessary. There's some interesting differences between this and a Hard 2 strategy. On Hard 2, Lind can survive a hit from one of these Armor Knights, and therefore you can put a healer in your last slot, and like use Lind where I'm about to put Drog, and then put Militia where Lind is standing. Obviously that crit with Marth wasn't necessary. But because Lind gets one shot by the Knights, we need a frontliner who doesn't die in one hit, and that's Drog. As I said in the previous chapter, I want to raise Pala's axe rank to be able to use hand axes and hammers. And I'm going to go a little slower on leveling that up than, for example, Don did in Hard 2. And that's a gamble on my part in order to award Lind some extra experience, and is motivated by the assumption that Pala will see some extra combat between now and the time I need to use a hammer compared to Hard 2. And obviously if any of these hits miss, it's a reset, but they're all fairly reliable and it's a short chapter, so it's no big deal. In the last chapter, I said that Cecile might end up being a better option than Riss because Riss joins with E-rank stabs, but that's actually not true. It turns out that he carries over his efforts from the prologues, and so he's already at D rank. It's still a little behind Cecile, and he's definitely further away from level 10 than Cecile, so I am not totally sure what I want to do there. That'll be an interesting thing to keep in mind as we go. It's all sort of, maybe it's all sort of moot. Oh, I was wrong earlier. It was an earlier attempt where I got an exact kill here. But for the strat to be robust against stat fluctuation, you need the Taurus Shard. But anyway, what I was saying is, it's an interesting question, and maybe it's all for naught in the first place, because if there's no warp in Lunatic, the value of staff users drops dramatically. I don't think there's many rescue staffs, and there's no thief staff, I don't think. Maybe there is, but I know there's no warp. And if there aren't a lot of rescue staffs, then the benefit of beefing up your staff ranks as much as you can, it's not as much as normal. And maybe I'm going too hard on that, and it's not necessary. I don't really know. We're gonna find out. But for now, everything seems fine, so we're gonna keep going the way we're going. Reinforcements do spawn from the middle and eastern forts here. I'm actually going to allow one to spawn in a moment to net some extra experience, but Katri is going to block off the fort in the middle. And of course, Pala's still working the front line. You actually I didn't want to move Marth, his full movement there, because it doesn't change the turn count, and you'll see why in a second. Alright, so there's the reinforcement. He's going to take a hit from Aaron's Steel Lance, which hits for nothing. Drog being on this fort just wastes time watching him heal. I can't remember why I did that. It doesn't do anything. There was no point. But yeah, that's why you didn't want Marth standing there, because Lind can't get on that forest tile behind Pala, so she needs to be there in the pocket to pick up that kill for some free experience. Pala's good for one more hit. I could have healed her with Riss there, but I would actually prefer to heal Aaron. He's going to move first. Yeah, there you go. I could have left him in enemy range and healed him outside enemy range, but it ends up being the same thing. Just to kill him on player phase. That crit was unfortunate. It's frustrating when you get crits that you don't want. So we missed out on some weapon experience there for Pala's axe rank. And I was just checking some math here in my head, making sure I didn't need to use the Marcus Lance, but I didn't. I could just use Steel Lance. Because this probably wouldn't have been worth it if I had to use a Marcus charge, or Marcus use, but I didn't have to. And there you go. Lynn's already up to level 8, so that's looking pretty good. And believe it, Martha, it doesn't look like it, but Martha's actually in range of the gate here. So we're nice and done. That's it. The very beautiful boss of this chapter ran away earlier, so we get to see his for free. That's fun. And then Riss offers to shave our head. Fuck no. Thanks for watching.